G'day guys, Steve Morgan here for www.TackleJunkie.fish, which is the tackle testing and news arm of Fishing Monthly magazines. We're at the AFTA Trade Show 2018 on the Gold Coast. Cracking day outside, cracking day inside here. There are around 70 or 80 of Australia's most popular and biggest distributors and manufacturers of tackle. They are talking to literally hundreds of retailers. We've had hundreds of guys come through the door today, and there is a real buzz with some of the new products which are coming out at the show. Now, we're bringing shows to you morning and afternoon every day of the trade show. That way, you who can't come to the show can see what we who can come to the show are going on. And Troy Dixon from Wilson's, you've got a few Zerek lures for us here this afternoon. But before we talk about the lures, tell us about what the AFTA Trade Show means to Wilson's as a company. Like, you get to network with a lot of people here and launch some new products. It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we treat it as our, once a year, we get to see everyone. We get, everyone comes to the one stop, and we try to make it so this is where we release all of our new bits and pieces for the year. So it works really well because you don't often get everyone in the same room all the time. Same with our sales reps and things like that. We don't all get them all together at the same time. So we treat it as one of those sort of things. So.
Now, you take that opportunity to release some new baits, and you've got 3 new Zerek baits here. Now, Zerek's a brand you guys started off several years ago now, and it's really built to a quality lure brand. Like, a lot of guys use them, and a lot of guys catch a lot of fish in them. Do the numbers behind the scenes reflect their popularity?
Mate, they're going from strength to strength at the moment. So we've got a few models in the range there that are probably pushing, number one sales status sort of thing. So we're very, very proud of that. Things like the Zerek Tango Shad with the flathead fishing and things like that, that's just been an absolute godsend for us. Like, it's been really good. Things like the Zerek fish trap, mate, unreal. Probably one of the number one selling vibes in Australia at the moment. So
that's right. So let's start with that. You got releasing a brand new Tango Shad here, and it's a shallower diving Tango Shad. It's the 1 metre, 50 mil. Tell us about it.
So this one's built on the strengths of the 50 mil Tango Shad that we've done before, and it dove to about 1.7 metres. So we were finding that the fish on certain parts of the tide for the flathead in that particular thing were, you couldn't use that deeper diving one, so we brought out the shallower bibbed one, and it's been working really well. So it's just opened up another area for us to fish for the flathead. But in saying that, it catches brim, it catches whiting, it catches bass. So, it's not just a flathead lure. So, but we've gone and put some of our favourite flathead colours in it because that's what we've actually put a lot of time and effort into. So.
Now, everyone may think, Zerek lures are just an overseas lure that are brought in for Australia. That's not the case, isn't it? You've gone and solved a local problem with this overseas company and made a bestseller.
Mate, we have probably 90% of the input into a lot of those lures that come. Yes, there is some of the lures that we buy that they sell overseas, but 90% of the lures that we sell as Zerek here in Australia, we have actually designed and had, 100% input into it. So.
Well, that's a great story. Now, let's talk about fish traps. Last year, I reckon, was the year of the fish trap. On the Zerek Barra Tour, I know a lot of people were throwing them, and every time I go out in the water now, especially down Port of Brisbane, North Queensland, down south, doesn't matter, everyone's throwing the fish traps. Show us this giant.
So, going from the Barra Tour last year, which was quite successful, and a lot of the fellas that I was talking to on that tour were going, we need a bigger bait. So we put our heads together and we thought, well, we've done the 110, how about we go to 160? So we started the project, and first of all we thought, well, let's make it, we'll make it heavy. So, so the first lot of samples come out, we did a 70 or an 80 gram one, and I thought, no, it's too heavy. So then I went back to them again, I said, no, can you make it as light as you possibly can, but in that length? And they come back with one at 54 grams, and being TPE material, is very, very buoyant. So people say, that's quite heavy still, but it's not. This thing sinks at about a foot a second. Okay. This is the lighter version. So it sinks at about a foot a second. So it's going to be ideal for the blokes chasing dewies, chasing big barra in the impoundments, and big flathead. So that's what I've been, really chasing on it lately, is a big flathead. We've been starting to get a few on it. So
I noticed that the hooks on it are great straight out of the box. You're not going to have to retrofit any of these lures because they've got the right hooks on them.
Mate, and that's the thing with Zerek lures. We want to have you to be able to fish this lure straight out of the box and catch what it's designed to catch. So there's none of this taking it away, changing the hooks. to suit Australian conditions. These things are built to suit Australian conditions. So.
Well, that's a great looking lure, mate. And look, let's go through the third one here, the Zerek Live Swimbait. That's something we've seen a few leaked on social media. I've seen some pictures. I've seen them hanging out of some massive barramundi mouths.
Yep.
Take us through the process, how this came to be.
So this is built on the success of our live mullet range, which went to about 5.5 inches. So we thought, well, all the cod fishing and that these days, and the barra fishing, are all wanting bigger lures. So what we did, we went off that same principle as the live mullet, and we just stretched it out, made it wider in the body, taller in the body, and then what we did, instead of having just one hook hanger on it, we added multiple hook hangers on it. So it comes standard with a treble ready to go out of the box for cod, barramundi, jewfish, whatever. But we added a hook hanger on the front here, so you can actually add a stinger hook or something like that. And then on the front here, we've added another hanger there where you can actually add weight to it. So you can add weight to it. The way it comes straight out of the box, it actually swims at about just below the surface at about a foot. So, but you add a weight to it, all of a sudden it goes down, and you can add up to about. I've had up to nearly 2 ounces hanging off the front of it. So you get it down, and it doesn't affect the action. So in the Barra Nationals this year, when I went up there and fished in the Daly River, we had hooks hanging off there, and there, and didn't affect the action at all. So it's.
But you still missed some hookups, though.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. They still managed to spit it out, especially no barbs up there. But yeah, so yeah, the Zerek Live Swimbait, mate, is going to be really good on the cod, and we've already pre-selling these, and they're actually selling quite well. Yep. And we haven't even got them in the country yet, so it's pretty good. So
that's the last question I've got, is all of these baits are released here at the show, but then there's usually a bit of a gap until they're in person. You can see them in the tackle shops. What's the expected ETA for the tackle stores?
So this one will be in the country by about October. This one will be here in about 2 weeks.
Yep.
And the fish trap will be probably about October as well. So they'll be coming in the same shipment.
There you go. So, look, thanks for that update. You heard it here at TackleJunkie first. Let's go to Rob Gaydon to hear about the next product.
G'day guys, Roop here, Morgo's wingman for while we're at the AFTA Trade Show this week with Tommy Slater from Daiwa, and he's got a couple of their new releases to show us. So Tommy, welcome to AFTA 2018, and what have you got for us?
Yeah, thanks mate. I've got a really exciting product for us. As you know, J-Braid's been super successful for us, and every good braid needs a good fluorocarbon leader, so we've made J-Thread FC, so a full size range assortment from 4 pound through to 80 pound breaking strain. 100% fluorocarbon, made in Japan. We've used a low memory core with a really highly abrasion resistant outer coating, so you get sort of the best of both worlds. Nice supple line, but still super tough.
Yeah, we actually got an advance surprise packet turned up at the office last week of this, and I was out yesterday using it in the John Dunphy Memorial Tournament, and I was surprised how well it came off the spool, but also tied knots. I'm not the best knot tie in the world, but it came together really easily, slipped in, and I didn't have any pull. So, and we were fishing around oyster racks and poles over here in the Gold Coast, and it did really well around there. So I think it's going to be a winner, but you guys are backing it in too.
Yeah, so it's a really good product, but really good value as well as with the other J-Braid products. So expect to pay around $22 for a spool of this in a tackle store. And the other cool thing is it comes with an elastic spool tender with an eyelet for dispensing.
So it's not unraveling in your backpack?
Keeps it all nice and together, and yeah, we're really excited about it. So that's going to be available around September.
And that's 100 metre spools?
Up to 20 pound, and then 50 metre spools from 25 to 80.
For your bigger stuff, Okay, no worries. And you've also got the new black range here, so that's TD Blacks?
I brought with me a new TD Black rod and TD Black LT reel, so some familiar styling for Daiwa fans. They'd be familiar with the Generation Black range. This is the updated version, so TD Black basically raises it to another level. So with the rods, it's a totally new blank HVF Nano Plus graphite, so you get a lot lighter, more crisper feeling blank. And on the bottom end here, we've done what we call Braiding X, which is like a cross pattern carbon which just stiffens up the bottom end.
So you get more strength in the rod without adding too much weight to the rod, is
basically,
that right?
Yeah. So we can add less carbon material to the rod, but and still achieve the same sort of stiffness.
Yeah. So when I was in my former life as a tackle store assistant, which is where I know you from first, there was a lot of these rods in the old generation black range. That's maybe 3-4 years ago. How many have you got in the range now? Is it the same sort of spectrum that you used to have, or is it a smaller range or a bigger range?
No, same sort of assortment. So about 30 different models, spin and bait cast, 1-piece, 2-piece, and 3-piece models.
Yep. And they've all got names. The old ones used to be Itchy Twitchy, and they've all got their own.
Kept all the same names.
Yep.
So if you used to use a Gen Black Scratchy, you can buy a TD Black Scratchy and know you're buying the same.
Okay, so it's the same rod essentially, but just up spec to the current best of the best. Yeah. Okay. No worries. And the reel that you've got on it, that's the new TD Black.
Yeah, reel-wise, new TD Black LT. So Zion body. This one's got the forged machine-cut tough digi-gear that's actually made in Japan. So the gearing for this reel is made in Japan. Same as our TD Soul, but part of our LT concept, so light and tough, Zion body, so super stiff and rigid, get a lot of strength, and full LT size range, so 2,000 to 6,000.
And important to note that LT has brought you in line with everybody else much more as far as sizing goes. Yes. So if you're used to fishing a 3,000 on your favourite rod, but you want to grab one of these, you can get a 3,000 and know it's going to be the same sort of sizing. So
yeah, if you want to compare old to new, we've got all the old to new comparison charts on our website. So if you want to head to daiwafishing.com.au and work out what LT size might be the best for you, you can do that there. So
great. Thanks, Tommy.
No worries. Thanks, Rick.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Roop. And we're back here now with Chris Bland from River2Sea. You guys make a habit each year of winning plenty of awards, either for best lure or best stand or both. Yep. And it's because you guys bring out some pretty innovative stuff. Like last year, we all saw on social media the incredible swimming action of the squid. But you've got some other stuff for us here, Chris, this year, and just run us through these couple of baits.
All right, Steve. Well, sticking to our fashion of being innovative and new and trying different things, we looked at the vibe market and how successful it is, but there's so much out there that basically are the same things. We thought, why not do something different and try and do a weedless vibe? So what we've done there is 10x material, a nice natural colour range, good spread. It's a fully weedless hook which actually can clip in and out. It comes with a spare hook in the pack, so if you do end up blunting it, running it through the timber and all that sort of thing, simply stretch it out, 10x material, pop the hook out, replace it with the spare one that comes with it, and you're good to go. Comes with the rolling blade on a swivel at the bottom there. And just really, I've fished it through some really heavy timbers, heavy weed, and it just opens up a whole new type of fishing for that soft vibe market.
That's right, because a standard soft vibe has 2 trebles on it. You throw it into any sort of structure, it's probably not going to come out. So you find that the snagless rate is nearly 100% with this?
100% snagless, mate. I mean, we've got a big snag in our tank there, and you can come and have a look, and dropping through, it bounces its way through. You're going to get caught up every now and then, but just rip it off. And it just, for me personally, I do a lot of jack fishing, and it just allows me to fish something that I love using, which is the vibe, in a whole new area, timber and rock and that. So yeah, really cool, and it's had a really good response, and excited to get it out there, and it's going to suit the Australian market really well, I think.
Aussies love good practical gear, not just an idea that's a gimmick, an idea that can catch them more fish. Tell us about the second bait you've got here, because these natural lures are really popular nowadays.
They are, mate. So we call this one the Frill Seeker. It's our take on a frill neck lizard. It's a soft, hard hybrid, so it's a hard body, 3 segments with a soft 10x frill, but also a stretchy 10x tail. So incredible action. It's a surface lure. You can fish it with your rod tip up and get that real wake bait. Really nice, subtle action through the water. Slow it right down. It's still got plenty of movement. And when you do pause it, that frill tends to come forward and puffs out, and really makes it look alive in the water, even at slow speeds.
Now, I've noticed that a lot of the wake baits that you can buy are really big lures, like they're designed for Murray cod, but this is more of a bass size lure. Like you've really filled a gap in the market because you can't get these small wake baits.
Correct. We just thought, look, we'll do something that suits, the toga, your Saratoga, your bass, even your mangrove jacks, a smaller cod. There is a bigger one in the pipeline. We're thinking maybe a 240mm next year. Big solid singles, heavy duty for that cod. But look, we just thought there is a gap there, and we wanted to do something different. And the action is just incredible, and it's going to be exciting to fish. Yeah.
Now, of course, the question I've got for you is, when do these fellas hit the shops?
Look, we'll have stock of both of these by the end of the year. They're all in production at the moment, and we're going hard to get them here for the summer. So all that topwater action, and you obviously in northern Queensland, that sort of thing. So yeah.
One last question. More information. What's the River2Sea website in Australia?
Okay, river2sea.com.au. You can also check out the Chase Baits Australia Instagram and website there. The full range and all the information's there for you. So yeah, cheers guys.
Thank you for the secret information.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks, Morgo. I'm here with Bradley Sissins now from Hobie Caddis, Australasia. A lot of you guys will know Bradley from his previous life at Daiwa, but now he's at Hobie and doing a lot of cool things, particularly around life jackets is what you hear showing off at the AFTA Trade Show.
Yeah, well, it's a big thing nowadays, the life jackets, and obviously the laws are changing, and one of the main laws that's changing is the rock fishing laws, which are coming to New South Wales, where you have to wear a PFD.
Yeah.
At the moment it's in one council, but there's several other councils now coming on board by the end of the year.
Yeah. So if you're not wearing one, it not only might you might do yourself some harm, but it could cost you some money out of your back pocket as well.
Yeah, it will cost you money, and at present, because the laws have changed to a new regulation, a lot of the old PFDs that people are using don't comply. Yeah. So you will have to buy a new one in the future.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the innovation that you guys have really come up with to make sure that you are now the first people to be compliant with New South Wales government regulation?
First one, the new law is called an AS 4758.
Yep.
So it's gone to they're a 50 rated life jacket, like the others, but these ones allow you to swim under the water, so you can dive into a wave if you get into trouble.
So you're not going to be belted against the rocks. You can time when you want to come out, or if you want to swim out past the breakers and be rescued that way.
Yes, so on these ones, this is the top of the range one, so it's got all the pockets for fishing tackle in there if you're rock fishing. We've gone to smaller buckles. This is a half the size buckle. Most of them are a 50mm buckle. This is a 25. They're just less water drag on them. A mobile phone pocket, so it's waterproof. So most of the phones nowadays, like new iPhones and Samsung,
so it's going to fit even your big smartphones in there?
Yeah, they'll fit in. Not with the case on it.
Not with the big OtterBox case on it?
Inside, we've got a crutch belt, so it goes underneath, stops the life jacket pulling off.
Yep.
And a pocket for a solarless light, which feeds up and comes out up here.
Yeah.
So for a beacon light on it. Inside, all comes with whistles. So you can either put the whistle on the outside or whistle on the inside.
Yep, to let someone know you're in the water.
Yep. You've got the reflective tape as usual on top. On the back, it takes a camelback.
Okay.
So you can put your drinks in there.
So obviously the plan is for you to not be in the water. You know, the plan is that you can still take all your fishing tackle, but in the event that you do get washed in, this is gonna look after you and allow you to swim and float at the same time.
And on the bottom it folds. So if you do squat down, that folds up, so you're not pushing up the life jacket like a lot of other life jackets.
Okay. So obviously when people go into tackle stores, you guys are going to expand your network now. They're going to be available all over the place. They're going to look for the Hobie badge, but if they look at that versus another life jacket, where can they tell that it's rated and to the New South Wales standard?
Inside we have, in the back, you see this one. This is an AS 4758.
So that's the important thing you're looking for at home is you know that this one is to government standard.
And this little blurb down here is done by the DPI, which basically is about rock safety. They put this on their products.
Okay, so this is for your rock fishermen, but we've also got something for the boaters and the kayakers, so this is totally new as well.
Yep. So this is the new basically inflatable.
Yep.
Okay, there's a few features on it. Pocket there again for putting a mobile phone in now. Okay. Nowadays, you put headphones in, they come out. It's a clip inside, so for tournament anglers, they can put their tag onto there, which is only a small thing. The big difference for them is we've gone to a mesh back on here, but the other one, which others have, most people find these uncomfortable, is we've gone with the back, which folds down like this, or most of the others in the market.
Yeah, so in a lot of other life jackets that might be on the market, that can be quite cumbersome, and it does pressure on the back of your head, even when you're just standing fishing or if you are paddling your kayak. So this is a totally different design, and this is where your gas canister goes in here and your release toggle there, obviously.
Yeah, so it sits nice, really comfortable in the back.
That's great. Thanks, Bradley. We've got some more stuff from Hobie that's going to come in the next couple of days, so make sure you keep your eyes on the TackleJunkie feed.
Thanks for that, Roop. And I've got one of the Australian iconic lure makers here. Now, this is Tim Carter from Halco. Halco are a West Australian-based company which has expanded to now manufacture lures internationally. And every year at the AFTA show, you guys release something that's new, exciting, and you can't put a bullet through it. It's that tough. So take us through what you've got this year for us, Tim.
Well, Steve, this year we've got a couple of great new products. First of all is our Max 220 series. This is a high-speed trolling lure. It'll troll to over 20 knots. It's got custom 9.0 inline singles for us. It's the biggest single that Mustad do as an inline single, especially made for us. The thing is built absolutely bulletproof. They've been using these in the United States for yellowfin tuna and for wahoo on electric reels, so it puts a huge amount of stress through the lure. This lure is designed to put up with those sorts of stresses, so yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic lure, and I think the Australian market will really enjoy using it.
Well, I think the Australian market, we're used to buying a lure, pay our money for a lure. We want to catch 100 fish on it. If we lose half of that lure halfway through, that's not good enough for us. So you've been brought up, I suppose, in the toughest set of consumers in the world, because they'll whinge about anything if it lets them down, won't they?
Absolutely. We build trucks. We don't build Ferraris, we build trucks. So, a lot of our markets around the world are commercial markets. They use our products because they're tough, they're strong, and they catch fish every day.
That's right. They're making a living. You need to use a tough lure. Now, that keeps the trollers happy, but increasingly nowadays, guys loving throwing lures on $2,000 outfits at fish that we used to drive away from in the old days. But this is, for GTs, for the big tuna. It's really popular now, and you guys make lures to cater to that market as well.
Absolutely. So this is our new Sly Dog 150. So it's a sinking stick bait. It sinks at a rate of about half a metre a second. So you can actually drop it down below a bait school, for example, sink it below it, work it back. It's a sliding stick bait, so it does all the things that you'd expect from a stick bait. If you want to keep it up near the surface, just keep the rod tip high, work it back at speed. It's absolutely ideal. It's got 7.0 Mustad inline singles once again, so it'll make releases easy. So for your Spaniards, your GTs, all those style of fish, yellowfin tuna, easy releases, or alternatively neck them and kill and grill.
Yeah, and look, both of these lures, they're premium lures. They're not going to fall apart. Two questions I have for you. Approximate the retail price of the lures when they're launched, and when are we going to be able to see them in Aussie tackle shops? Okay,
so the Sly Dog here, we think this is exceptional value. It's going to be around about a $21 lure. Wow. So for all the stick bait guys, tell me another stick bait that you can buy that's as tough and strong and going to catch fish like this at that sort of a price point. So we're thrilled with that one. And obviously the Max 220, we're looking at around $31, $32 Australian. So yeah.
There you go. Halco making great Aussie-made lures for the world, and they are the cheapest and toughest ones on the market. Tim Carter, thank you very much for spending the time with www.TackleJunkie.fish.
Roop's back in the chair again, and I'm with my friend Justin from Tackle Tactics. He's got a couple of really cool, really exciting new Z-Man products. We know you guys love Z-Man, and we're the first to bring you this new stuff. So what have you got for us, Justin?
We have a new colour in the Z-Man plastics. So available in some of the most popular styles, 2-inch, 2.5-inch, 3.5-inch grubs, 2.5-inch slim swims, 3-inch slim swims, 3-inch minnows, and a couple more. So that is actually Midnight Oil.
Midnight Oil. So that's an Australian classic, and I'm sure this is going to be soon. How'd this colour come into fruition?
So motor oil, as most would know, is extremely popular, probably the most popular colour in Australia. Motor oil coloured plastic, high UV reactive colour. Yep. And
Brim love them?
Brim love them, and Chris Hickson loves them, but Chris Hickson also likes a bit of flash. So a bit of flash in the racks, so the fish see it and catches their eye. So we basically have the best of both worlds. So we've got the UV flash and also that fleck in the plastic.
So the boss here, who's been doing some segments as well, just commented off camera that the idea behind this was that you guys have sold so many packets of the original motor oil that now you've added a bit of glitter and you want to sell 1 million packets of those as well. Is there some truth to that?
We actually worked really hard on this fleck, and you look at it and you go, okay, it's motor oil fleck, but we've had about half a dozen different samples back and forward from the US to get the fleck right.
And the glitter can really change the composition composition of a plastic too. So you think it's as simple as adding some glitter, but anyone who's played around with some soft plastics, and my friend Brett has done his own, and he said the glitter could ruin things. It melts. It can totally change things. So how much time has gone into engineering this?
Had heavy glitter, light glitter, different coloured glitters, and we've ended up with a light silver fleck in there and silver right through. And when you look at it, as the silver goes deeper into the plastic, it becomes copper and gold.
It does actually changes
colour as it goes in there.
The plastic,
So something as simple as it is could be a game changer in terms of the fish. So Midnight Oil, unleashed.
So this is close to the smallest in the range, but as you get bigger in the soft plastics, do you see that colour change more across the range in your bigger sort of styles?
Yeah, the minnows is a bit of a thicker plastic.
Yep.
And it looks a little lighter in the material, but I really think once this gets in the sun, that UV plus the glitter is going to be awesome.
And we all know that it might only take one small thing to change a fish's mind, to change it from having lockjaw and not eating anything you put in front of it to being all over it and hitting it as soon as it goes past. So something like that can be a small change that might make a big difference to your day's fishing. So,
and I can normally gauge on how successful something's going to be on how pumped our pro anglers are, and our pro anglers are pumped.
Are all over it?
Yeah.
And so you've said this has happened sort of quite recently. When can anglers who want to go and buy a packet pick some up in stores? When do you anticipate that?
There are literally 3 packets in the country, and that's it.
Right.
But August.
Okay, well that's not too far away, so put that on your Father's Day list for anyone out there. And the other packet of plastics that you have for us?
The other that we have here is the 2.5 inch TRD Crawz, so a finesse craw style plastic.
And as a bass angler, that looks like a bass lolly to me. Is that sort of where you're targeting? Is this a US bait that's working in our market?
Yes, so we do a Nedlocks jig head, which is a Ned rig style jig head, mushroom head. And that has got, so you'll see the flat end in there to suit the mushroom style jig head. But that is basically that 2-inch craw profile, which will do brim, bass, other species as well. But it features an underhooked tail, so it looks like the tail is underhooked, and you've got the flat fins there, and also the flat belly, so it gets nice glide. We've got legs, we've got realistic eyes, realistic antenna, and because 10 times tougher Elastec material is buoyant, we've got that claws up action.
Yeah, so I've seen in you've got some small 20-litre fish tanks out here with a few of these in it, and that Nedlog jig head sits on the bottom, and these are waving up, and the claws are moving in the water. So that's the idea, is that it presents like a craw naturally would, and invites them to come and have a nip at this.
Spot on. So we generally, with that jig head, you've either got it retreating, so fleeing, or it hinges up and throws those claws up quickly in a defensive pose.
Yeah, that's right.
So fleeing, defending, eating.
Rigging the jig head from here, your hook's going to come out on this side, and when they grab that tail, hopefully you get them in that top lip every time, and you've got a bent rod.
Fish on.
That's it. All right, great. Thanks, Justin. We'll look forward to seeing what you've got left at the show. Thanks, mate.
So this is the final segment in this afternoon's coverage on the first day of the 2018 AFTA Trade Show from the Gold Coast. Got Damon Olsen from Nomad. Damon, you guys are famous for building indestructible stuff. Yes. You released a similar lure to this a few years ago, but this is an improvement, I think, on your current pattern. What is it? What does it do?
So this is the smaller DTX range. So we've got the DTX 85. We've got this is the 120. We've got the 100. And we've also got the 85. So there's 3 sizes that we're releasing at AFTA this year. So the bib shape and the body shape on these is different to the larger ones that we released a couple of years ago. These are a little bit fatter body. The bib's been designed to be a casting lure, so you can really cast it at structure. It'll work its way over timber, so the little kick on the side here means that when you're sort of pulling it over structure, it'll kind of roll over a little bit more than just a standard bib. So the auto-tune system is a real feature on these lures, that they'll just dive super deep. So the larger one here is a 25 footer. That'll get down to 30 feet if you run it on lighter braid. 20-30 pound braid, that's going to go 30 feet. My favourite's the little guy here, the 85, for casting at snags for jacks and barra. I grew up doing this sort of fishing, love it. Inspired by handcrafted things like sea lures from years ago, Australian sort of timber lures, and to be able to sort of make something that's in the same vein, to be able to cast at snags, jacks, barra, dives to 20 feet. I'm pretty excited about this one myself. So these are a really exciting new release for us this year.
Now, tell us what our punters out here want to know is they don't get to come to AFTA. This is business, but we want to know when these guys are going to hit the shelves and how much they're going to cost.
Right, so the 85, well, actually all three of these are not that far away. So we're looking around early September. The 85 is going to start around the $21.99 up to the 120 size. You're looking around $26.99 for them. So they're fitted with heavy-duty BKK 4X trebles, strong split rings. The 120s full through wire system, so super strong, indestructible, but probably a little more on the finesse side than what we've been known for in the past. So something different for us anyway.
Yeah, that's right. And you guys are expanding. You've made such good blue water lures. Yeah. You're expanding into the estuary market, into this lure casting market. I think you're doing it well. The feedback at AFTA's been great.
Yeah, it has. Look, these have been really well received. I think for guys that are obviously casting for jacks and barra, but there's been a really big reaction to some of the colours that we put out for guys trolling for bass, flathead, obviously small lures that'll dive really deep for guys trolling for flatties. We've got a couple of pink colours that and purples that are getting people pretty excited for the flatties and bass. So there's a big range of species that these will cover that we haven't really been tapping into in the past.
Well, there you go. There's the latest and greatest from Nomad Tackle, and that brings to an end the first of our comprehensive tackle coverages here at the 2018 AFTA Show. We're going to be back with you tomorrow with heaps more tackle.